Peace, peace, family. We are now live. We are now live. Peace to everybody in the chat. I'm gonna let everybody get comfortable. Let everybody gather. We're gonna have a great show tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Let me move my Buddha closer to me. Y'all don't see him, but he's here. He's here. My Buddha. If I do a different view, you can see my Buddha, but I do the close-up view, so you can't see it. But he's there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, listen, family. I got a special guest with me tonight. We went to Stone Mountain. I did a journey to Stone Mountain on 9/11, and I talked to certain gentlemen on 9/11, and all of y'all, I mean, a lot of y'all just reached out and was like, "Yo, that dude, you got to get that dude on the show." And I knew when I talked to him, he was something special, and I had to get him on the show. That's why I got the gentleman's number. So we're about to get into the show with the gentleman. I'm about to introduce him. Before I do, we're going to get to a few commercials. And then I'm going to introduce the gentleman that y'all all was talking about. All of y'all was talking about in that Stone Mountain video. So let me get to a few commercials. Then we're going to get back. We're going to have a great show, family. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you tell your friends and family we're live. This is something we definitely all could benefit from. So just get comfortable. That's the most important thing, for us to be comfortable while we're receiving this information. But yeah, I'm going to get to a few commercials and I'll be right back, family.
Welcome to the Sacred Tree. This is Stardust Jewelry for the collective. All of our pieces are spiritually downloaded, handcrafted, and created with the love and healing powers of our set. We pride ourselves on using nothing but the best crystals, 14 karat gold, and sterling silver to highlight the conductivity of this alchemical process. So many superpowers for us to tap into, and the crystals are here to help you. I always say whatever crystal you choose, it chooses you at the same time. It's a symbiotic relationship. So feel free to tap into the sacredtree.life, see what we have to offer. Rock.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. December 4th in Florida, Cosmic Alignment with Billy Carson alongside Ellison Nebra. And don't forget, King Simon with Dina Divine. And don't forget the one and only Joshua Sarah, all happening in Florida. Linktree/King Simon, the numero Veda for tickets.
Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
Yeah, I forgot, family. I have to get rid of that King Simon commercial. That lecture in Florida has been canceled, so I have to get rid of that promo. He just told me today, so I forgot. But I'm by the next show, by tomorrow, I'm gonna get rid of that. But he's having a family situation, Brother King Simon. So the lecture in Florida will not be going down anymore. So anybody who's interested in that has been canceled. I'll give you an update in the near future. All right. So yeah, definitely to get the show started, man. Family, welcome. And to my guests, welcome, my brother. I want to allow you to introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, my brother.
Greetings, Rich. To my Jamaican massive, big up. My Black American strongs, much respect. God's people globally, you're in tune. Well, I'm Elman Alanel. I have been forecasting events for quite a while. I have a unique ability to astral travel. This came through some traumatic event I went through as a child. But I had this experience on the 1st of August 2017, where I was in the astral realm and I saw 4 planet-sized, transparent, look like pieces of glass, but they were coming into the atmosphere. From where I was, the world was about a football away from where I was in perspective. These things came zooming by me. The first one that went by, it had a Z on it. The second one had an I on it. The third one, a O on it. The final one had an N on it. They went towards the earth, compressing and stacking as they go towards the earth, forming the symbol as they came into the atmosphere. To put this in perspective, we need to kind of understand the time that we are now in. This time started in the age of Aquarius, which was in 2000. The first of those children who were born in 2000 last year were legal adults. They were 21 years old. You saw their actions around the world as to trying to change it, for lack of a better word. But these are God's army without leadership. No, this is a cosmic event that also herald a 900-year epoch. This started in the 19th century. In numerology, everything goes from 1 to 9 and it starts over again. 0 is not a part of the count system. 0 is that of the divine feminine, the creator energy.
Talk to him, brother.
So the 19th century, 9 and 1, 10, so that's 1. So in the 19th century, we can see how American civilization, let's keep it here, everything took a new direction. Okay, come along the 20th century. That is the second 100 years in this 900-year epoch. You find that 2 represents partnership. A lot of innovations and discoveries and inventions happened in this 2 numeric time, where partners get together, build a plane, build a car, build machinery that make our whole life as we have it right now a much better place. Okay, so we are in the 20th century. Now in 2000, we moved into the 21st century. That's the third 300, the third 100-year period in this epoch. Now, 21 represents the first, 21 is 3, 2 and 1 is 3. It represents the first shape in geometry, which is the triangle. So we have a foundation that we never had coming up to 2000. And we know the events that were taking place to distract and take away from this grand rising that was happening. Now, with my abilities, my first encounter was this from the future, 78 years into the future, when this symbol came back to us, this symbol here. This came from 78 years in the future. And this is how this will make sense to you. They tell you that unless these days be cut short, no man will be left standing on earth. This is a Bible prophecy. There are more of you that is more versed on this than I can best explain. But this is a prophecy, meaning this 3 numeric that we were in, the first shape in geometry, it led out to 17 years. And then something transpired in the future that God has to send his Shem back. This is a Shem. And what the Shem means is something that God has placed here, something like the veil that was ripped in that synagogue, and the hand came out of nowhere and wrote on the wall. That's a Shem. This also is a Shem. This came with a 7 years run to it, which is evident in the first symbol. The first motion of making this is this, 7. So we know to look 7 years from now. Remember when this came, 2 weeks later, it was the Great American Eclipse. So this is a line cosmically. Now, when you count 7 years from now into the future, you come to April 2024, and there will be another Great American Eclipse. And that eclipse will cross America like this. It's obvious that this has everything to do with America. Now, within this thing came, I get this shaped up. Okay, within this thing came a lot of knowing. I automatically start understanding things from a divine perspective. This symbol carries more information than we could put together by articulating or comparing notes or anything like that. If you look into this, you will right away see this. G O D K I N G. This is all symbolic. This also came with an archangel, Raphael. His color is emerald green. Emerald green. Now, for 5 years, this covenant of judgment that archangel came with this thing with was that of be true, stay true in all that you do. While he was coming through the atmosphere, that's the locomotion's sound that he was making coming into the atmosphere as an archangel. Be true, stay true in all that you do. This is a covenant of judgment. This thing been running for 5 years until last Christmas, when this thing went like this. It fell. On Christmas Day last year was the final day for man to exalt into the heavens. And what happened last Christmas Day? JWT was sent up. You all know what JWT is, the greatest technological advancement of man. It went out into the cosmos to do what it does best. But now, after last Christmas, you end up with two worlds, two different worlds. Gravity is not feeding these worlds no more. There's the world that God is talking to us from, and then there's the world that is reacting to God's work and God's movement on the face of this earth. It's obvious. Now, on top, we have Meat. And Meat, gravity is now working with Meat coming down and coming up. If it wasn't for God's Shem in the center of this, all manner of misunderstandings that we cannot begin to comprehend would be coming into our atmosphere, coming up from under our feet. And we are not ready for that. If God did not send this Shem here, we would be in a world of trouble right about now. You know the world events that's been happening. One of the things that depicts this time was that of the time of Noah. When Noah brought the attention to God that man were so hedonistic and they were so wicked, and God should do something about it. A lot of people will say God drowned men, but God did not do such thing. What God did was extend the territory of the dwellers of the sea. His most favorite beings on earth, the quiet ones. You can see this reflection in some religions. They will use certain depictions of the fish, and I don't have to go through all that. You know what that is. So these beings, the Lemurians, the quiet ones, were again expecting this call. They expect that humanity was so hedonistic that it will be an easy thing for God to just let them do what they do and then give more territory again to the dwellers of the sea. You are seeing the Pentagon releasing images of TikToks coming out of the sea, and our fighter jets can't get to that. Those are those people. Those are God's people. They're waiting on God's action. With all of this, my friends, God works in simplicity. Man works in advanced complexity. To what avail? Makes you wonder. If something as powerful as this could come back here, and people are saying, oh, that is just something I made up. No, God speaks English. How do I know that? Because this symbol been spoken about in Sanskrit, all the Abrahamic alphabets. You name the Chinese alphabet, the Russian alphabets, all of them have spoken of Zion in their alphabet. But none of them can make a geometric pattern out of the word Zion. Only God English. The English, the word of spells that created everything in the beginning. God said, let there be light. Look at it. That's a word sound coming out of God's mouth. Let there be light. This is no wonder in what vocabulary that was. You would say English is the newest of all religions, right? Of all alphabets. But look at this. What's hidden from the wise and prudent will be revealed to the babes and suckling. God will bring his language back if you have to create it. And you did. So when you hear God's voice in its melody and the goddess' voice in its extreme wonder, you won't mistake it. You know that's English I'm hearing. That's about to happen. Now look at this. God, this symbol is full of directions. Okay, look at this. I and O, that's binary. Look again. That's a symbol for power. It's also the symbol for phi. All of that's right in here. God don't have to explain himself. He just have to show you. You will understand. I'm sure all of you now understand this thing right here that you didn't get the fullness of. Now look at this again. We're talking about a stitch in time now. This stitch in time took place on 9/11 on Stone Mountain. A lot of us went up there for different reasons. But that stitch in time took place on Stone Mountain. That's why that whole video about Stone Mountain came about the way it did. And I didn't have to go seek a platform for God. God made Rich walk over to me and said enough that everybody wanted to understand what this is. And remember, Archangel Raphael's judgment is be true, stay true in all that you do. Have you noticed what had happened since 2017? You saw a lot of grand people, great people being taken down by lies. Them and their organizations, you name it. But when this thing arrived, something unique happened. You started to have a culmination of different events that embraces this. 2017, when this came, what happened? The trumpet started blowing. It blew for 4 years. And then we're biding time. No, it's not political. But guess what? It is. It's symbolic of the people that govern this great country, this great here America. It's not about the individual person. It's the symbology of their names. Those people can only react to God's doing. Now look at this. In 2019, blockchain was invented. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a truth-based algorithm. An algorithm that couple of spring ups like bitcoins and them started mining it to create a fund. But this blockchain is a truth algorithm that the world is preparing to be the next financial system, because it cannot be infiltrated. No one can go into blockchain and infiltrate it. It's a truth-based algorithm. That's this binary, I and O, quantum, God thing. It's profound, but truth is truth. And you can't not see this truth. It's all in one little symbol in my hand. Now, when you turn this, you notice only the background colors of green and black and white changes. The word Z-I-O-N, the Z, look, turns to N. The N turns to Z. The only thing that is constant is that of the divine feminine. So last Christmas when this fall happened, it was that of the divine masculine. That reign is over. This, let's kill them all and start again. Kill them all and start again from the divine principle of no consequence is no longer going to be accepted in the divine realm, because Her Majesty have been intruded upon by where man should not have been. She decides this game will no longer be played. She is coming back as Queen Bee. We are not prepared for this. We treat our women so badly. There are whole nations of people that make it their duty to suppress women. What do you think is going to happen when the Queen Bee comes back? She is going to make sure that that nation only has women, children, and within a generation, that nation will cease to exist. That's the power of God. This is not my opinion. I just know what's happening here. There's no bleak future for us now that she's coming back. Everyone will get exactly what they deserve. That's the judgment of Archangel Raphael. Everyone will get exactly what they deserve. Nobody's coming to pull a book up and read about you. To your own self, you must be true. So all that you've done is within yourself, and it's emitted, and it creates an energy that's read from all across the galaxy. You can't hide this. You had one chance at life, and you were given a talent to support you through that life. And what have you done with it? That's your thing. That's between you and Archangel Raphael. But as I said, there are two worlds here now. Two worlds. In the center of this, that's saving our asses, is God's Shem come at this time, and Mayat and the abundance of the universe don't come raining down in here and make it never to again to be a place of man. This was about to happen. The blackness is the most abundant force in the whole universe. It's 528 hertz. It's measured. The frequency of love is black. It's unforgiving. It's not going to be forgiven of anything that's wicked and unjust. This is a reprieve. Right here. This is a reprieve. Say, let's carry out this judgment. Let's be fair from God's point of view. Let's be fair. Let's carry out this judgment. Let's see who amongst them should be saved. This judgment is over. It's not coming. It's over. It's a 7-year judgment, and 5 of those years have passed, plus this fall happened. So for this year and the remainder of this year, in any court of law, when the trial is done, you have closing arguments. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe we missed something. That's where I'm coming from at you. One last chance, because this case is closed. Christ in mass have already judged the last 5 years. That case is closed. That's why this flip happened on Christmas Day. So what happens after this years of closing argument? Then there will be 2 more years. Okay? 2 more years, 2023, and then the last year, 2024. 2023, it will be the year of conviction for your judgment. Then 2024, it will be sentencing of that conviction. A lot of people that cause problems for the earth won't make it beyond 2024. And then the Omega comes, Her Majesty, April. So there will not be an election before she arrives. It will be 8 months after she arrives here that we will actually have a November election, 8 months later. So all that's to be done has been done. Now look at this correlation with other prophecies. The red and blue Kachina of the Hopis. We know about this prophecy. How does it wind into all of this? Well, the Republicans are red. The Democrats are blue. That's your red and blue Kachina. This is happening within this time. Now back to Stone Mountain and that particular event. Okay? That event that marks 70 years of Elizabeth's reign. It's in here, 70 years. This cannot be denied. It's obvious. On that day, I went to Stone Mountain, invited by Brother Rich, Brother Blue, and Brother Red. Yes, by Brother Blue Pillar and Red Pillar, representing the red and blue Kachina. And halfway through the event, you watch it on the video, there was dancing in the plaza. That's a stitch in time. That whole day was a stitch in time. It saved 9 realms, if you know what a stitch in time means. It saved 9 realms. The devil was not able to go beyond that day. He was confident he could have come on top of that mountain and take down a set of people. Well, a very powerful woman walked that hill. I won't mention her name, but a very, very powerful woman that captured the devil, shackled him, and now he has no power here on earth None. He is a part of this closing argument. He was so confident. He walked up that mountain that the great Martin Luther King spoke about. I have been to the mountaintops. I have been to the mountaintop. I may not make it with you what he saw in the future, but he knows his people will come out on top. This is my message to you. It cannot be denied, no matter how you put it. Remember, this is not a religious thing. If it was a religious thing, it would have been best suited to be put in the hands of greater institutions, for lack of a better word. People who have a monopoly on God. Okay? Can you imagine if they had access to this and the understanding that came with it and the archangel that accompanied it? This is not religious. This is a God thing. Without any apology. God is confident that I can say this now, because the trial of the last 5 years are over for all man, every man. He is confident. Release all of this. Tell them everything will come over the next 2 years. Tell them everything. Brother Rich has opened a platform, and I said, God put him hand on my shoulder and said, walk out down the mountain. Now walk back up the mountain. You see that gray hair man, they go over there, go chat to him a little bit. Brother Rich, save him soul. Brother Blue Pillar, he has his mission. Brother Red Pillar, he has his mission. But those two brothers fulfill prophecy. By the hope is, in this here America, in the stitch of time, those two brothers aren't no ordinary people. You don't know an angel when you see an angel. There are 9 realms. I couldn't walk to 78 years in the future and back without angels and God's approval for me to walk within those realms. Only God could make that happen. I may be sounding boisterous, I'm sorry, people, but there's only one way I can stay true to this argument. It's feverish. It's a truth that cannot be denied. And this is resonating with a lot of us. Brother Rich have a lot of great people on his program. People who are, for lack of a better word, they think they should implement this thing. Well, guess what? They implement this thing. This is not all about me. This is about us, the Black Strongs of America. From sea to shining sea and pole to pole. We are the Olmecs. We speak English. The nose knows. You see the nose? The nose. There's more to be said. My great friend, I shouldn't be saying friend because he was before my time. My king, Marcus Garvey, he made a prophecy. This prophecy went, heads of world leaders will roll in the street when the 3 sevens clash. A lot of different dates came and went, and people tried to understand what Garvey was trying to say. What if I tell you this prophecy was also fulfilled? The Shoemaker-Levy comet in 1993. That comet fragmented into 21 pieces and impacted into Jupiter. 21 pieces, 3 sevens crashed into Jupiter. So where are the heads of the world government that should be rolling? Hey, I watch TV and I see Mussolini statue got pulled down, his head fell off, and it was rolling in the street. I saw Saddam Hussein statue got pulled off, and his head was rolling in the street. People were hitting it with their shoes, which is a no-no in their country. I saw that Marcus Garvey prophecy fulfilled. You are bloodthirsty, so you were expecting some actual world leader to get their head chopped off and it be rolling in the street. No, God deals with simplicity. Nothing has to be bloody. Just like in the days of Noah. God didn't do nothing to them people. He just gave the territory to his favorite people, the dwellers of the sea. God works in simplicity. Our people need complexity of understanding and theories and degrees. God don't work like that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so the 900-year epoch, as I said, the 21st century, the first shape in geometry is the triangle. Okay? 17 years into that, something happened in the future, 78 years into the future, which will make it from a whole epoch would be 100 years. But 17 out of those years, something happened. And this was set back from 78 years into the future. No, that's the 22nd century. This is why this will make sense. 22nd, 2 and 2 is 4. This is 4, the second shape in geometry. This is supposed to happen 78 years from now when the 22nd century happens. God sent this back and said, no, this can't continue. The whole purpose of his kingdom is about to get torn apart if he does not send the Shem back. It's amazing. But yes, it came back. So, from another understanding of the times we're in, the 2022, okay, remember I said on the mountain, the Ethiopian calendar was its new year. Well, in Ethiopia, we are some years ahead of that original calendar. In Ethiopia, it's 2015. They haven't even reached their 21 on their epoch yet. So a lot of things we are expecting to see will be very subtle, depicted by the yellow in the beginning and the end of the word Zion. This represents Osun, smooth transition. Osun represents 5, the 5 years that we were talking about. This levity is not something that you can do without. You're already judged. You can make peace, make amends, make somebody's life better. But let me tell you something. If you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. Wealth, as you know, is going through a transformation. Ownership, as you know, is going to be going through a transformation when Her Majesty comes. You can't undo this. This is not a next week ceremony. Everything I tell you here tonight, that's it. There will be events that come along like any other thing. There'll be events, and there'll be a desire to understand. But this is all on you. To your own self, you have to be true for this judgment. No guy coming to read no book about you. The book is within you, and you emit a toroidal field, and it gives off a color frequency. That color frequency can be seen from Zion. God know if you come now, you can play a tick up out with you know. He ain't doing that. You did that. Over the last 5 years, there have been instances, I'm sure, where people question something is happening. I don't know exactly what it is. I feel I should do something. This that I'm depending on to lead me is leading me astray. I need to be awakened. I need to be enlightened. I need my third eye open. Well, this third eye is what sees these frequencies. There's 3 parts to man. Man, the physical, man, the spirit, and then there's man, the eternal, the one that sent us here, the one that's confident that he don't need the whole world. He just need one somebody that will find another somebody that will find Brother Rich on the mountain. And confident that it will happen in perfect timing, as the stitching time took 9. Confident, that kind of confidence. That kind of confidence can only come from the eternal realm, the eternal part of you. So me now as a physical, I seek to open my third eye. Okay, so this is me, the physical, with my third eye open. You can see this. My spirit, its third eye is open too. So that's 3 more eyes. The eternal part of I, all of them will open up. 3 plus 1, and you can see here, these are eyeballs you're looking at. Look, these are side view of eyeballs, like you're looking at my eye like this. You're looking sideways. You're looking at the side view of an eye. That's what this is. 1 eye here, 1 here, 1 here. With the Bible would describe this as you have a prickle in your eye, or so. You theologians would best say what it is. Okay? But these are 4 eyes you're looking at. Now, the red is depicted by the reproductive system of the woman. That's why it's red. The white is represented by the sperm of man that impregnates and creates. That's why these colors are the way it is. But they're also eyeballs. If you come from the islands, you will know what a red-eye woman means. Anything she see you with her, she want it. If she don't get it, you can't have it. This is God thing. God will come down here and God is going to look around. And this is why I'm telling you about ownership and wealth. She's not coming to have arguments with you. Nobody can stop this. It's going to happen. All this is symbology. When your third eye is open, you can't help but see it. Most of the richest people are very advanced people in their line of thinking. They will see this. It's obvious, does they? I will do what I can to share this and keep sharing this and keep living an upful life for my children and my grandchildren's sake. And that's all you all can do for your children and grandchildren's sake. A lot of the children who are being born here are redeemed. This is their first time around. Most of you all that are here under this epoch at this time have incarnated to many lives' journey. So some of us aren't even being judged by this lifetime alone. And we are the ones that carrying this energy. And this energy is read through all lifetimes, all our ancestors in the past, and ancestors from the future. Because this is the stitching time. It's all thyroidical coming right back here. It's all happening here and now. Most of these things you see happening around the world, my friends, are suicidals. Let me put it in a different way. So Ukraine and Russia is fighting. Ukraine and Russia are family. Thailand, China, and Japan, they're fighting over there. They're family. This family feuds. North and South Korea, this is family feuds. Pakistan and India, this is family feud. All up and down through Africa, it's so much, it's numerous to mention. It's family feuds. That's why our great country, America, had to come out of Afghanistan, because that was the only war at the time against two nationalities of people. And prejudice had to be involved with some of the atrocities that took place on both sides. So that the wisdom of the governing bodies of this country had pulled their forces out of Afghanistan. There's talk about leaving this and leaving that. No, it had to be done for the preservation of Afghanistan and the preservation of God country. Because anyhow they have exalted against God people in God country, the whole world would suffer. America is God country. No matter who come up in this and trying to claim it, is God country, is Olmec country. From pole to pole. Nobody can change that. They try to lick off the nose off of things of pronoun meaning that was passed down for us. But enough got saved so we could add 2 and 2 together and say, oh, if this head they look like that, I have that nose. Then that nose belongs to all of them, but that got hit off. So again, we have Trump and Biden. The trumpet blew and we're biding time. But in the meantime of we biding time, the trumpet is behind the scene blowing as a mother. What can I say? He is. He didn't go away. He's blowing. He's doing his thing. I will elaborate on that because there are other things I could say, but hey, Trump is blowing his trumpet. I saw 3 trumpets. 3 Trumps, 3 Trump, man look like Trump, walk in front of the limousine. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, Trump don't have 3 triplets as siblings. I saw 3 Trumps. I'm not political. I never voted in this country. I'm just talking about the symbology of this. So I say, okay, let me look at what 3 trumpet means in Bible. That's wormwood. The water that become bitter. Kill off a third of the nation. I leave that right there. But here we are. Here we are. We have been witness to a very particular time in human history. Very particular. Never in human history have we experienced the things that I have just put in a nutshell. Whether or not you believe any of this is not meant to be believed. The fact is, Archangel Raphael came with this thing. And his covenant was be true, stay true in all that you do. I know say I know to play. I know say I need to stay true. So whatever I'm telling you here tonight is truth from me. Because to my own self, I have to be true. I know what is at stake. I have 9 children and 9 grandchildren. I will not make it bad for them. This earth will be a paradise for everyone. Some of us will get younger. Some of us will live till we die. But in this time, this is a God thing. This right here is God thing. This is not no religious thing. Nobody have a monopoly upon God thing. As I said, if that was so, this would have been coming out of a certain establishment while those establishments were falling apart for the lack of visitors. But yeah, brother Rich, that's it in a nutshell.
Oh man, wow. That was
I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. And
no, not at all, brother. We all here listening attentively. We're all here enjoying what you had to say and what you had to share. Just as amazing and interesting as you were on Stone Mountain. So I definitely appreciate it. Before I want to get to a little Q&A from the people, but
sure,
before I do, one of the first things you told me when I met you on Stone, and you're absolutely right. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I was Red and Blue Pill. They were filming their video on Stone Mountain, and it was so electric, and I was so hyped filming the video, and I stepped off to the side and I to cool down, and I'm like, oh man, oh that was awesome. And something told me to go to the side to take a breather. Something said, Rich, like specifically, something said, Rich, go to the side. It's quiet and get a breather. And that's when I went over there and I ran right into you. So something definitely directed me right to you, my brother. So you're absolutely right about that. But what I want to ask you is, you told me that you were given that symbol in the astral realm. A lot of people are curious about the astral realm and how they could access information from the astral realm to bring back here to benefit them as well as their family and the rest of humanity. So talk to me about how can people access information like you do in the astral realm?
okay. The ability to astral travel usually comes on from a near-death experience.
Mm.
I had a head-on collision, and ever since that, I came back to. On the way to the hospital, I telling the guy take me to the hospital. He took me halfway to the hospital. I come back to life
Mm.
and jerked back in the vehicle so hard that he, in turn, was almost up on the steering when my spirit came back into my body. Ever since that window was never closed for me.
Wow.
Now, this in addition to childhood traumas as a baby.
Mm.
Okay, I don't want to put my family business here, but I had childhood traumas as a newborn baby. 1 year after I was born, the greatest solar event that hit the earth happened in 1958. The greatest solar event. If it happened now, we would be back in the Stone Ages.
What was
But
that?
technology was non-existent then. Most we had was telegraph, couple of telegraph poles burnt, but that's 1 year after I was born. And guess what? Rich, I have never forgotten the experience I have now. As I said, no, I'll just close my eyes and I see that which happened then as a solar event.
What was this? What happened when you was born? What was this?
This was in 1958. The greatest solar flash that ever hit the Earth
Wow.
on in 1958. You can Google it and see what it is.
1958.
1958, a year after I was born.
Okay.
And as I said, the only way to explain this is me as a child not being in my mother's bosom, in somewhere totally foreign, seeing people totally foreign, being scared shitless, fighting for survival upon arrival, brethren. You understand? So that was my first mental scar. I went through life as a successful person, what I do. Very good at what I do. I'm not bragging, but, people come from Canada and all over America bringing them cars to have me do them. I sent you a sample of one of those cars that I created.
Right.
And it's not about that, because it's my appointment only for my business. But this thing that God wants me to do, I need to not front it. Just like how I came up to Stone Mountain and this happened.
Mhm.
Okay? This thing needs to grow a momentum of its own. And it doesn't need much. If we are going to go biblical, Rich, you got to remember that live feed brought about 144,000 people in within 2 days live. So it doesn't take much. This momentum, this God thing, Rich,
Mhm.
it has a mind of its own.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the binary that we see inside of this symbol, this binary is now what governs everything around us, our phones, this thing right here. So God is in all of them things. You can't take him out.
Mhm.
So the ruling, governing bodies on this earth is not man.
Mm.
It's the divine principality. People
Mm.
are scared of artificial intelligence because they think it's man-based. This God-based artificial intelligence has nothing to do with man
Mm.
and doesn't need any input from man. Man created binary, created sorry, quantum computers, right?
Mhm.
So when this thing came here, what did it do? It attracted to its family. It attracted to binary. Went in there, and within 2 years, it assimilated, and blockchain was invented. Not by man,
Mm.
by God,
Mm.
using man to create. So all of these stigmas you see happening around the world, and let me just drink something, Rich.
Take your time, brother. Take your time. I want to take this time to thank everybody for listening. Give the brother a break, the elder. Let him drink some water, brother. The elder went for an hour straight. Take your time, elder. Take a little 3-minute break. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I want to,
using some lemon to
yeah,
coat the voice
yeah.
box.
I want to thank
This
everybody
brother
for
fellow.
tuning in. Get your questions ready. We're about to get to some Q&A. So get your questions ready. I want to get some good questions from the family. So yeah, definitely get your questions ready in the chat. I'm gonna click on some questions, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the brother, for those who are not aware and who came in late. This is the gentleman who I spoke to on Stone Mountain, the trip we made on 9/11, and the brother was dropping some gems. And everybody in the chat was like, "Yo, Rich, get him on the show." And when I talked to him, I knew the brother was awesome. That's why I got his number, and I got his number right before my phone died, so I knew exactly what was going on. So just wanted to give the brother a little break. And yeah, go ahead, brother. You want to finish saying what you were saying? You good? All right.
Yeah. As I said, in symbology, everything doesn't have to be spelled out. Let's use the McDonald's emblem for you driving over in Arizona somewhere, you see the double arches.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what's on the menu,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go in and ask. So when you see this, everything that's on the menu that I've explained to you, it's not hard for you to now see it. You can't unsee any of the things that I said to you. It may have seemed like, oh, it's my opinion, but it's so much of it couldn't have be just something out of my mind. That's not by chance. None of that is by chance.
I want to talk to you. One thing I noticed, because you brought up the English language a couple of times, saying it's God language. And when I was young, one thing I noticed when I was young, Elman, is that in learning the alphabets, and you learn words, and you learn sentences, and you learn verbs and nouns and pronouns and adjectives and adverbs and prepositional phrases and all this stuff that comes with the English language. What I noticed early was that X, Y, and Z stood out to me. It's X, Y, and Z was real strange. It seemed foreign. It seemed like something, because those letters aren't really used as much as all the other letters. So X, Y, and Z X, Y, and Z. And you notice they use that in math. But when I was young, I know it's X.
It's right here.
It was,
It's
yeah,
the,
I
it's
know.
the omega.
It
Look,
was something
X,
strange. Something
Y,
stood out
and
about X,
Z.
Y, and
It's
Z.
right here.
So what is it about the talk to me about English language and the X, the Y, and the Z that
Well,
you
the
know
X, the Y, and the Z is the full stop.
is the what?
The full stop of any
Okay.
statement. You make a
Okay.
statement, you put a full stop.
Mm.
So just as how we figured that the 3 is the first shape in geometry, meaning the triangle.
Yes.
So as it is in the first shape, it is also in the lie. In the
Okay.
in the last, X, Y, and Z
Mm.
is right there.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So as I said, with the English language is a language of God's spells. Now man reintroduced English because it was the time for it to be reintroduced as the newest
Oh.
language on the face of the earth.
Okay.
Man created that, but without the godly implications that goes along with the same English language. Speaking things into manifestation. English language did that. Look at Baalbek. Look at um, uh, Machu Picchu. Look at right across the border in Mexico, although the border is a new thing. Look at all those pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
It's questionable how that could have been done. It could only have been done if you command it, just like Solomon when he was building the temple. And the demons came around and said, what's your name? What can you do? I have great strength. I can lift both. I'm saying, okay, lift that bowl and hold it up over there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's manifestation of the tongue.
Okay.
That's the God tongue. That's the real tongue. You don't hear it spoken, but you can see it in the things that were built that could not be built by the mechanics of man.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be told to formulate itself, and it aligned itself with the galaxy, and it formulated itself. And some of the times that they put into with these things being created, it's unheard of. Those things could not have been built in those times. It would take eons. Yet still it was done. And it cannot be reproduced. That's God English, brethren. We have reinvented God's English, just like how we created the binary. And we thought, oh, this is our greatest thing. And then zoops, God come in and take over your binary because it's his thing. He inspired you to use ones and zeros because he know that's his thing. So he inspired one man to use these ones and zeros. Now, when he comes back, he didn't have to wonder why they use different things. No. Family know family when family see family.
Okay. Let's get to some Q&A from the people.
Sure.
Let's get some Q&A. All right. Let's see. Somebody says, what was seen in the sky over NYC on the night of 9/10, September 10th?
I sent you some image on the phone, Rich. That image on the phone with the black.
Yeah, I wasn't able to
coming
see
out
it.
of the cloud with the crown on it. If you can pull it up, that's why I sent it to you.
I wasn't able to get it. For some reason, it didn't come through.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's why I sent it to your phone, hoping that you could have do your magic from your side and have it come up.
Let me see. Yeah, it did not come through. Let me see. Let me make sure. I got the video you sent me. Yeah, I got the car. I got the picture of Marcus Garvey, and I got the coin. But I did not get the I did not get that image.
Let me see if I can pull this up for you real quick. But that image was seen over New York the night before 9/11. Okay. I'm gonna just hold it up here.
All right, let me
It's
let
not
me.
the best, but
It's all right. We're gonna
if
work
I
with
can
it.
hold it steady enough,
Yeah.
you can see the black. Oh man, this would have been better because you could see the outline of the golden crown on the head of this being coming out of the cloud. And right to its right, you see in a white figure as though turning to flee from that king with that crown coming out of that cloud.
Mm.
I'm going to send it again to your phone and see if maybe you can
So what was that symbolic of? We talking about
well,
symbology.
we were talking about 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
that stitch in time.
That's stitching time, right?
You understand? So this is something that happened in the cosmos,
Mm-hmm.
unrelated, all the way up in New York from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yet still, a sister was going to, she was going to New York, and when I told her about your event, she said, I'm going to cancel and come to the event at Stone Mountain. But I told her, no, it's a family event that she had planned. Follow through with your family event. It's more than your decision.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, she saw this apparition over Brooklyn Bridge while she was crossing over into New York.
Mm.
And I said, I'm going to send it to you again. Maybe you can repost it or something. Or while you're getting up your question and answers, let me see if I can send it to you and maybe you can.
Okay, excellent. So
You try.
so while Ermin gets that together, let's get to another question. And once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Definitely an interesting show. This is the brother I met on Stone Mountain on 9/11. All right, so somebody wants to know, how can we as black people work with the divine feminine?
Well, we are. For all in all, the divine feminine is exempt from this flip that happened. She is the only presence on the face of the earth that's still constant in this topple that happened. So the best way to work with the divine feminine is working with your mothers, grandmothers, paying very close attention to your children and especially the younger ones. The first thing they say, make sure you catch it. Don't be distracted and say, what did you say? They're going to give you a different version. And that's from my experience with having a lot of grandchildren. You got to be very keen. So, talking to your grandmothers, talking to your mothers, sussing out this meaning of morality. That is a big problem right now. Morality. And the downtrodden of women. You see what's happening in Iran. Women are taking off their rock and burning them. Well, guess what? American black women share the same thing. It's just called a hat or a wig.
Mm.
It's the same thing. So their words sound being uttered now where European men are looking at the black woman and say, wear your natural hair. It's beautiful. And it's catching on. So the days of this wig thing is on the way out. Just like how it is in Iran, so it will be here. And my advice for the male of this country and around the world is to grow your beard. Make it a markable difference between you and your woman. The curse of Cain is not to be able to grow facial hair as a man. A lot of people wonder what that curse was. That's what it is. There are some nations of people that cannot grow hair on their face as a man. And because of the evil they did, they influenced other people to shave their face, groom themselves, so they can look like a woman, so they can hide in plain sight. Real thing, Bridge. Anybody can make sense out of this.
Let me get to this next question. Can you ask him about Earth's 40-degree pole flip in the next 6 months?
Well, what is happening? Okay, Zion is getting closer to earth. There is no trauma in the future that you should be afraid of. Don't follow none of those fear tactics. That which is happening is earth is embracing the bridegroom. So this is all in the Bible. The place of perpetual twilight. When I'm there, I pull up my tablet to show them some of the things I do here on earth as to what do you do. So I pull up my tablet in that realm and be showing, getting ready to pull up. There's no Wi-Fi, no Wi-Fi. Okay, but the innocence of the physical didn't make me aware of that. So I pull up my iPad and it comes up with a screensaver with a beautiful landscape, greenery waterfall landscape that's on the front page. And they were amazed. Check this. They were amazed. Because in Zion is perpetual light. The souls in Zion are light, photonic light, but they move with the consistency of water. That is Samvartika. That Samvartika fire is on its way to earth right now. This will come down over the earth, through the earth, and out the earth. We will all experience this glory. When it leaves, only the chosen will be holding on to this radiance. And it will be obvious for everybody to understand what they are now seeing and how come they didn't hold on to it. That's Samvartika fire.
Deep.
So, for those who know what Samvartika fire is, I'm telling you what I know from my experience. And also what I know about this beautiful place named Earth. And you would think that, in the abundance of the glory of God, there's no need for earthly beauty. But guess what? Those in the realms admire the greenery and the waterfalls of Earth. I think there's something to be preserved here. There is a great multitude of masters on the way back in to help us through this transition. But it won't be questionable. It will be profound. And you won't question it. They have all kind of description of what this is going to be. But it's going to be so profound, you won't question the glory of God that you're witnessing. That's what all of this is about. All of it.
Let's get to the next question. Somebody is asking, are you saying there will be a complete new Earth mind state as of 2024?
I do not pretend to speak for the divine realm, but that which I have seen and the way it comes together with other instances that are happening on Earth at this time, and the understanding that I've gotten how to read these energies, is that something grand, something that has never happened on the earth before, will happen around that time. It's obvious. All of this can't happen without a consequence. And anybody could put this formula together. It's not out of my wisdom, no. This is things you all know. Everybody knew about Zion, but nobody thought about compressing it. Because it was not the right time. Now is the time.
Speaking of Zion, speaking of Zion, Kanye West recently got a lot of attention this week, with him talking about blacks being Jews. And also, I think it's interesting that the hat he's wearing, he's going around everywhere wearing a hat that says 2024. And you're talking about 2024. So is there any connection between 2024 and I guess melanated people's connection to Hebrew or Judaism, any of that?
Well, we are God's people, brethren. Everybody comes up with a different formula as to why they are God's people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just dealing with America right now. I'm not dealing with Africa. I am not over Africa.
Okay.
Okay. My land, Jamaica, is right there off of Florida.
Yes.
So is a boat ride, and I'm here, or most of my people are here.
Mm-hmm.
So I only concern myself with this great nation. God made me see this after I came to this great nation.
Mm-hmm.
So this energy that I'm speaking about is in this nation. So the way I look at it, God wouldn't show me all of this, and it don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You all, everybody on your program can ponder this and see if this don't make sense. Because guess what? You can't unsee this obvious. It has always been there. All the other things that I showed you that align with this, from the Arthurian age to the blue and red Kachina, to Trump and Biden, to dumb Republicans red and Democrats blue. This all formulated in a nutshell. So as to be asking as to what Her Majesty is going to do, that female lady might be best suited to answer that question, because she's a female. Mm-hmm. She's a creator. I'm an observer. So, I am very optimistic. I don't, with all the doom and gloom and all of that, I don't see it, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it in the future.
Mm.
I see a blissful future.
Excellent.
That's what I see. I don't see no doom.
Excellent.
How Her Majesty is going to unveil this, because you know how women are, they got to make things the way they comfortable with it. They'll come in your house and rearrange it, Rich.
Indeed, yeah.
And you can't find none of your stuff. So I'm expecting more of that. I'm expecting a shake-up. Things that people are morally obligated to do and they're not doing. That's the first thing. It's going to look like she's at war to undo some of these immoralities.
Mm.
But that's what it's going to take.
Indeed.
Because if the female of this world is going to be exempt from all of these things, guess what? They are going to have to be reformed as to how the goddess wants things done. She's not coming here to come to work with nobody, Virgin.
Mm.
You understand?
Yes.
She's not coming here for somebody to downbeat. So our whole ideology of how we treat women is about to go through a very reckless reclamation, brethren.
Mm.
That's the real sad story that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Roe v. Wade alone, look at that.
Yes.
A billion and odd children were killed over 50 years, brethren.
Wow.
That's like Herod on steroids.
Yeah.
How can that be okay? How can that be okay? So there's a lot of things that God is and the goddess is going to address. And this has nothing to do with me. I'm just an observer. You understand? I'm just an observer, but I'm confident it will be okay. Because I have grandbabies and I have grandbaby girls. This is their world. Your little son running around here, and most of you all have your little babies. There's great future you want for them. Mm-hmm. This that we're handing over to them can't be it. That's why this is here, Rich. This morality can't continue. This questioning of who is who.
Yes.
You know, no matter what you've been through, you are a grown person now. Time has changed. It's a new time, new day. It's a God thing now.
God ting. I like that. Let's get to the next question. Is Zion Nibiru? They want to know what
I wouldn't. Zion has always been Zion.
uh-huh.
Every alphabet has spoken of Zion. It has never spoken of anything other than Zion. So I wouldn't jump to make that statement that Nibiru is Zion. What I can tell you, just like how the Lemurians were expecting the handover of the territories of Earth to them, likewise the Nubaru and the Anunnakis were expecting the same. Free for all. This is not God. Nibiru and Anunnaki, these are not gods. God is higher than all of that. So they are all here. It's not only the Anunnakis are here. There are beings from all over the galaxy who came here to reap this because man was going to fall.
Right.
They had a great surprise. Zion is here. So what they did, they come up into judgment. So they are going to judgment too. Every single one of them. They are not exempt. They did not expect God. They expected their technology to reign supreme. And the divine intelligence has assimilated into theirs too. So you'll hear about crafts here and a bunch of this here and a bunch of that there. They're under quarantine. They came into the atmosphere and can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like most of these wicked ones that's been here for eons, influencing mankind to create technology so they can hitch a ride out of this atmosphere and up through the firmament. Nobody's getting out of this motherfucker. Everybody's going through this judgment, brethren. You understand? And they'll expect, okay, a woman thing, we have that. No, they don't. Her Majesty ain't playing with them either. So, as to be signing checks for these people, I am not. I know that they are all going through this judgment. And I can, from my experience, I can say Nibiru isn't Zion. Zion been around forever before Nibiru. And it was first described as the caduceus, the two snakes, the staff, and the orb on top. When the wicked ones came here and it left up into the heavens, okay, they saw it going off into the heavens as two snakes. The snakes were moving. As I said, when you move the symbol, these snakes also move. But they are sine waves. These are sine waves they were looking at. So what was really going out of the atmosphere was I and O, accompanied by the sine waves that transfer them. That's why when you turn the Z to N, it becomes a Z, becomes an N. It's constant. So these are a motion that brings I and O back to earth, the male and the female principle, the Adam and Eve principle. So when this went off of the earth as the caduceus, it went to the gates of Zion. Those gates are on Mercury. When these images, these four images were coming in, they were shimmering like Mercury when they were coming in from Mercury into Earth's atmosphere. And then when they started compressing, they started giving off the color frequency, which had the rest of the meaning, which only attributed to Earth. Once it got into Earth's atmosphere and oxygen was introduced, then the colors become brilliant like a flower. So this is timeless, Rich. Adam and Eve was way back. I mean, they brought the Anunnaki story right back to the creation of man also. But Zion was there in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this now. Archangel Raphael, his symbol, his staff that he travels with, his weapon, is the caduceus. You do all your research. You can get online and do it. You can see Archangel Raphael, his color is emerald green, his number is 5, and he holds a staff, which is a caduceus, which is Zion.
So Archangel Raphael the same as Tahuti?
I'm not going to pretend to go into things to the degree of confusion, and I would not take that theory on. Somebody more educated than me in that line can probably make that correlation. Okay. But I'm thinking, yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hermes Trismegistus.
Yes.
Raphael is the same being.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get to another question. Can the divine feminine be manifested in a man?
I don't see how. I mean, we're capable of doing all kinds of things now, Rich. But the soul of man and the soul of woman cannot be transformed. So you can make a shell, but what about the soul inside? The soul is still male and the soul is still female.
Isn't the soul
about the eternal part of you? Is still male or is still female? So you are just messing with the core outside. You're not doing anything.
I guess, Elman, I guess what people are wondering is some people say the soul is androgynous and it splits when it comes down to earth.
Well, that's true, because Mercury represents an androgynous being, a male and female being. But as I said, when that symbol was coming out of Mercury, it was shimmering like Mercury. And then once it gets into the oxygen of Earth atmosphere, it blossomed into a flower. It took form.
Mm.
So the same can be said about an androgynous being coming to Earth. It has to choose forms.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that choice once it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Once out of the womb, that's who you are. You can change the physical form, but how are you going to change the spiritual part of you? How are you going to change the eternal part of you, which is the grandeur of your purpose here? It's a conundrum. I mean, I don't want to get into none of that stuff.
Right.
There's no winning it. It goes right back into morality again.
Definitely.
So I wouldn't even take that on. But I do agree that all beings that came here were androgynous, coming out of Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gateway to the sun.
Mercury.
So God didn't take the creations of his through the sun stargate to Zion. He left it at the gates of Zion, which is outside the sun, the closest planet to the sun, which is Mercury. Yeah.
Deep.
Real.
Leave your the people want to know, how can they find out more information about you, how they could get in touch with you? Do you have a YouTube channel, etc., etc.?
Yes, my daughter, in her great wisdom, said I should create a YouTube page. As I said, Rich, this argument, whoever I've put it, I've spoke to some very powerful people, Rich. People that you will come to know eventually.
Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
And there's recurring questions as to their place in this. I try to advise. I try to show the wisdom that comes with them, not from me. This is what's happening in your life. This is what you're doing. These are the things that maybe you should look at. Nobody want to hear about God because that stigma being run out. Well, look, God didn't deal with none of those religions. He made his own way here. He avoided everybody. So maybe you need to take a fresh look at what God is about
Mm-hmm.
and fix your problems. As I said, to your own self, you have to be true. I have no problem advising on how somebody can best, manipulate their way through this life's journey, through this treading, and still have some life of quality. We are far into the rich. We're up to here. We're drowning in immorality. We can't just change that.
Right.
We have to change everybody around us. Because if we change ourselves when we look across the road and like it's influencing us still.
Mm-hmm.
That's why God's strength is here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not playing. It's gonna be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And everything changes.
Somebody's in the chat saying you have a YouTube channel, Zion 9 Priest. Is that your channel or is that some troll scammer?
No, that's me.
Okay, just want to make sure.
My daughter, in her great wisdom, has set up a YouTube channel which will come online in about 24 hours, and it's gonna be the Elman show. So I'm sure we'll be doing some things together, Brother Rich, and
Excellent.
getting this information out there and helping people as best as we can. This is God's work. This is ultimate work.
That's facts.
There is no other work like this work.
Mm.
And it's something you can feel good about. And then guess what? There's a lot of wealth in the world, Brother Rich. A lot of immoral people with a lot of wealth that need to talk to Brother Rich.
Mm.
You understand? Or talk to me or visit our sites and see if they can get some kind of understanding how they can save themselves. This is real thing. We
Indeed.
can't deny this which we now look at as that's my baby girl right there.
Okay. Shout out to your daughter. All right.
Yeah, she's the genius behind most of this, and my grandson who was instrumental. I'm an old soul, I do the rough stuff for the family, and everybody gets to do what they want to do. But I'm at a stage now, Rich. Hey, I've worked so hard for so many years, brethren. This is the real work that I've been doing behind the scenes all these years. And it has now got to a point where it needs to consume more of my efforts and more of my time as we transition. I couldn't just throw this out there and say I did my part. I would have walked away from Stone Mountain. Yet still you call me on the Feast of the Tabernacle, the last day of the Feast of the Tabernacle.
See, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you, this is crazy. No, hold on. Let me say something. I have somebody here saying they're your daughter, then another person saying this. This YouTube thing is so crazy, y'all. I don't know who's who. I have somebody in here named Unique saying that they're your daughter. They didn't make that page.
Rich. Yeah. I have a lot of daughters. Unique is my daughter.
Okay, no, somebody else that I just posted.
Yeah,
that's Zion 9 Priest.
Yeah, that's Zion 9 Priest is mine. My daughter is handling my phone right now.
Okay, but then Unique is saying I didn't make that page. This is
no. That Unique is my daughter also. She's out of state.
Okay.
So right here, right now, this is my look across here. She don't want to be on things. But she she is they're both, and Unique living Unique outdoors. She's my daughter here that's moderating for me, making this happen. She is an avid hunter and a fisher, and deep sea fishing, all that stuff. That's her forte. My other daughter, she's there she is. Yeah, that's her. So that's her site, and if anybody wants to visit her site, it's Living Unique Outdoors, and you'll see a lot of great fishing shows. She be pulling up snappers, Rich, taller than me.
Woo!
Seen that?
Wow.
Yeah, big sea fishing.
Excellent. Where she catches them at? Where she catches this? Where?
No, she go to Florida and they go.
Florida.
Go. How much hours out to sea you go?
I go a whole day out.
A whole day of traveling out to sea. Big sea, Atlantic. And
Wow.
she be pulling back some snappers, Rich, I tell you. I had to give away snappers, the amount of snappers she brings back.
Oh
But,
man.
she's blessed like that. She's very blessed like that. My
I,
other
I, I
daughter,
got.
Unique.
I want to ask you one more question from the family before we get out of here, my brother. One last
Okay.
question. Somebody wants to know, Brother Rich, ask him, is it true that the creator does not get involved in his creation? He only just keeps creating. What's your thoughts on that statement?
Well, that's a recurring theme.
Mhm.
That's why this fall happened. Because he keep creating and recreating and giving humanity another chance. Let's wipe them out and start again. Wipe them out and start again. Well, this time around, we advanced so quickly over the past 200 years that it changed everything.
Mm.
We went from the motor car to traveling in outer space.
Mhm.
We went from Galileo to James Webb Telescope that can see into Zion.
Mm.
Zion is not that far away. With the right telescope aimed at the right place, you can look right into the city.
Mhm.
That means with James Webb, you can look further into the city. You're intruding into a territory that's that of the goddess. Women are private, brethren. She is pissed. So there won't be another wipeout and let them rise again, another epoch from now. She's coming to change it. She's coming to make sure we never get to that place where there's no consequence for our actions.
Mhm. Mm. Wow.
Yeah, that's
It's
what's
good.
happened. You know,
Mhm. It's good stuff,
we
man.
we we um we can only be humble within ourselves. Let go of the ego. Let go of the immorality. Start finding a common ground with the woman in our lives.
Mhm.
You know, the
Mhm.
grandmothers in your life. If you don't have a woman, you have a mother.
Mhm.
If you don't have a mother, go find your grandmother. She might be neutral, where your mother might not forgive your ass.
Mhm.
But grandma will sit you down and talk to you. This grandmother energy is that of Miat.
Mhm.
Try reading the 42 principles of Miat. You will see that the 10 commandments came straight out of this.
Right. Right. Right.
So that can give you a direction to go with your seeking. But no, nobody is going to fix you. As I said, to your own self, you have to be true. That means that's which is within you that has already been judged. It's within you.
Mhm.
You have a limited amount of time, a small window in redeeming yourself or finding favor in God's eyes. This is closing arguments. It may not swing the case, but it might make your remaining existence here on earth tolerable.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of people here on earth that's not going to die with you.
Mhm.
A lot of old people here that are going to get younger, brethren. A lot of dead in Christ will rise up, brethren,
Mhm.
and live again.
Mhm.
My browser has lost connection. You hear me, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I can't see you no more, but I do hear you.
What is happening? Yeah, I have my grandson come over and look. But that's the spin. You know, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
I have no better way of explaining this which I am privy to, other than what I've said.
Mhm.
You know, it's gone again.
Yeah.
Try it again. Um, yeah, but I've given it the best of my wisdom, given it the best of my God given um, understanding. I rejoice in the name that God gave me. God gave me the name Elman.
Mhm.
This is not something out of my heavens.
Mhm.
God gave me that name.
Mhm.
That name is profound.
Mhm.
I
Love
just
it.
leave it at that.
Love it. Love it.
Yes, it is
Uh,
what it is, and it has great meaning. It has
Indeed.
meaning right up along with what I'm doing here. You
Indeed.
know,
Elman, I want to thank you for coming on here, man. It's
you're
been a
welcome,
pleasure.
brother. Every time, brother. We just have a trod earth, and as I said, that Stone Mountain trod was, welcoming.
Indeed.
Even for an old guy like me, I enjoyed it, and it opened a whole different world.
Mhm.
And I have to thank you for extending that open invitation
Indeed.
so that we could get rid of some of the things that were entrapping us. And a lot of your people were going through some things when that stitching time took place,
Indeed.
and I don't have to backtrack that. I'm watching it from afar, and it's obvious as to what was. But
Indeed.
what was, we don't have to contemplate no more.
Yes, sir.
Just keep trotting, keep trotting.
Yes, sir.
It's a long walk to Zion Gate, but it's such a sweet journey. Yeah,
Hey,
real
listen,
sweet.
I look forward to having you on the show again sometime in the near future. I want keep me updated with things you're doing so I can tell the family and any information. I know you go to the Astral realm and get information. Just keep me updated, brother. And I'm definitely going to talk to you soon and have you on here again, my brother.
Much respect. And yes, this is constantly being refreshed
Yeah.
with new things that are unfolding and
Uh-huh.
new understanding that comes along with these new things that are unfolding.
Indeed.
Our brother Kanye West and what he's going through is not by chance.
Mm.
You know,
Hmm.
he's the richest man in America, yet still in a capitalist country, he's questioned about his sanity.
Mm.
I say a man of weak mentality cannot amass the fortune that he has. So that tells you, from a capitalist country's point of view, there's nothing wrong with him.
Hmm.
There's a lot wrong that he's talking against. He wants his family back. He
Oh, oh,
wants, stuff like that. But I
also,
won't go into
also,
this.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Before you get out of here, do you have a Cash App? The family wants to know if you have a
Yeah.
Cash App.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My daughter, in her great wisdom, also did this for me. It's
Oh, y'all,
you see,
oh, y'all ain't played.
it's
Hold
good to
on,
have.
hold on.
It's good
Y'all
to
ain't
have.
played. Yo,
It's good to have loving children, Rich.
old school. They got it written on the. I see you.
Yeah.
All right.
There you
Shout
go.
out to the daughter coming through in the clutch. All right.
Yeah.
So, family, if you would like to support this, the elder, his Cash App is right on the screen. Right on the screen.
And that's Elman, Manal and L9.
Leave that on the screen while we close out, my brother. I want to thank you for coming on here. Please, family, make sure an elder that comes through like this and drops his wisdom and spends the years researching and doing the research like that. It's important that we support this brother and let him know that we appreciate his work. So show some Cash App love to the brother. Elman, I thank you once again, my brother. Keep up the good work. Thanks for dropping the gems on us on Stone Mountain. Shout out to your family, the grandson who helped earlier, making sure all the technical stuff was right, your daughters, everybody else. Family, thank you for tuning in for this broadcast. Like I said, make sure you support the elder. And with that being said, we getting out of here. Elman, anything else you want to say before we get out of here, my brother?
Again, big shout out to Blue Pillar and Red Pillar
Yes.
and yourself. You are a trio that came to Atlanta at a time when Atlanta needed you.
Thank you, my brother. That means a
That
lot to
will
me.
go down in history as you paving the way for all other black people which will benefit for this new dawning that's happening. There's no room to be pulling each other down like how I see certain people trying to anyway, I ain't even going there. Real is real.
Thank you.
Okay? And this information didn't come the way of any other platform. God made me reach out to Rich and Rich reach out to me. God said, you two link. That's not my thing. That's not Rich thing. Look at the timing of the Stone Mountain video. Look at it. It's profound. It's speaking all kind of esoterics.
Yes, sir.
Hidden things. This is God thing happening. Anyway, gentle people, much respect.
Thank you.
The journey is real. The journey to Zion is a long trod, but it's such a fun trod. We're going to be doing it together, my people.
Yes, sir. Thank you, family. I'll see everybody next time. Peace.
Peace.